Good morning, Facebook land. I not even good morning. Good evening. Happy Friday. I am. I've had a couple drinks tonight, which I guess explains the rouge going on here on my face here. But I'm coming at you live from British Columbia, from the eastern end of it, kind of the southeast region of British Columbia, the region that sort of kind of enters into the Rocky Mountains a little bit. A neat little place called Kelowna, BC. Population about 100,000 people. Nice kind of retirement sort of resort community on this beautiful lake here, and right now we have a gorgeous evening going on. It is a Friday night, and so I'm at this conference here in Kelowna, BC for work, and I just kind of want to give you guys a little feel for what's kind of happening around here. I'll give you guys a little shout, kind of a scene of what's going on here. This is kind of from my hotel room here. Got this beautiful view of the lake here, with this a lot of boating, a lot of beautiful BC boys hanging out on the beach, and yeah, it's Friday night, and there's BC, beautiful Canadian boys, right? So that's I think what BC stands for around here, and so yeah, it's just a gorgeous evening here, and just kind of enjoying some nice chill time on the lake at the conclusion of the spring grounding and lightning conference that we had for my work at CIATI. So we just wrapped up a productive 2 days of meetings. It's one of these shindigs where you go out to these beautiful resort towns and then you find that you spend all your day in a hotel conference room going over grounding and lightning technical issues, and actually, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed a lot of the technical discussion today, so it was actually a lot of fun. Kind of from the professional background and from just the kind of the personal experience of getting to visit this fabulous place. And yeah, as you can see, we've just kind of descended into the twilight here after our previous sunset. Yeah, it's a weird. Oh my god, I can't even see me. I need to turn some porch lights on here so you can see my drunken red face here. But hi everybody. We have Pam. Hi Pam. Yeah, it's an incredible view from here. Beautiful area. It's kind of a mix of sort of your high-end retirement communities out here and some kind of low-end but fun RV parks that are kind of in proximity to that. So it's kind of a neat little mix of I guess cultures and socioeconomic backgrounds. But yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying a nice time out here. I brought my vape with me, and it still has some battery remaining in it for now. Did not bring my charger. I always find it kind of ironic when I go to these electrical conferences and then forget things like chargers and shit, especially when I'm at a battery conference. But this is not the case right now. So this is a conference or a meeting, so it's kind of one of those, I shouldn't say niche topics, but it's a topic that's very prevalent in all facets of electrical engineering, as well as we find out, you get grounding issues a lot of different places that are nearby power lines, and so our work here is to kind of make sure that grounding systems are designed properly, and so that people don't get hurt when they touch electrical equipment that's not grounded. All right, I apologize. I'm on my Wi-Fi connection. I gotta save on my data because Canadian cell phone plans do not offer the luxury of providing unlimited data like our U.S. counterparts are so used to and taking for granted. So hence why these Facebook Live videos have been a little bit less frequent, but also I don't know. I have, life has been a little steady, a little bit, I don't want to say boring, but, more steady state, so not as much excitement and upheaval in my life as maybe in the months of December and January, but nonetheless, I'm enjoying it, and it's nice to see some folks online. And Pam, I'm just out here until Saturday. So tomorrow morning I leave. Actually, tomorrow early in the morning, 7 a.m. is my 7 a.m. local time here in Kelowna, so Pacific time is my departure time, and then I think I get back into Montreal in the evening, Eastern time. So I think when you account for the time zone change, I lose 3 hours on the way back. So I think altogether it's about I'll say 4.5 hours of actual travel time on the plane and at the airport, and then of course you got to get to the airport early and all that jazz. So it's pretty much, I'm gonna say, 6 hours out of my day to come back to Montreal. But nonetheless, I will be back in Montreal on Saturday night, around 8 o'clock. So I have some time for some shenanigans in the city tomorrow night. Have not made any ambitious plans or anything to go out tomorrow night, but if any of you cute boys and gals out there in Montreal to get something I have not done yet in Montreal is karaoke. I have not gone. So I've been to bar cocktail on a weekly basis in order to catch. Oh gosh, I'm on this silly little Wi-Fi plan, so I apologize for the intermittency of the connection here. But anyways, I still have yet to get into karaoke in Montreal. I have fond memories of bar cocktail with this beautiful and fabulous Quebecois female DJ, and the cool thing was every time he got up on stage to sing for karaoke, he'd automatically get a free shooter. And so there was sort of a built-in incentive for folks to sing more. So I kind of like this little incentive structure. And normally the case is that you try to get as drunk as you can before you go on stage, and that way you can sing your merry little butt out with minimal hesitation, minimal minimal nervousness and whatnot. So I've had some drinks tonight. I did not bring my weed with me on this trip. I've been kind of rewarding myself some time away from the marijuana while I'm on these little trips and stuff. Not that I mind bringing weed on the plane or anything. I've never had an issue carrying small amounts of weed in my bag or anything, but it was kind of a nice opportunity to sort of challenge myself a little bit. I shouldn't say challenge myself, but just to kind of take a tolerance break. And some of you regular weed smokers, I think, know what I mean. Or I shouldn't say normal weed smokers. Anybody, I'm sure, understands what I mean when I say tolerance break. So when I get back to Montreal tomorrow night, I'm going to have a lovely toke. Probably first thing when I get back to my house. And so it'll be nice. Like, I can kind of kick back a little bit and I don't know, maybe head out. I have a bad habit sometimes of smoking weed and then kind of getting into my little, I shouldn't say antisocial moods, but I get into moods where I just want to stay inside and kind of do some creative activities inside instead of having to go out and socialize with folks. So I don't know. But Daniel, thank you very much. My dear friend Daniel from Columbus said you slay at karaoke. Thank you. I love karaoke. I love performing. Anybody can. We can all get into arguments over how good of a singer I am, and that just misses the whole point of just the enjoyment of it all. And I think sometimes it's real easy for folks at karaoke, in any sort of singing environment, to get nervous or to get sort of hung up on trying to be a perfectionist and impress people with their vocal capabilities, when really it's not just about the vocals, it's about the comprehensive performance, of which the vocals are just one element of. So, I've seen people get on stage and they're great vocalists, got incredible voices, but they just don't sell the song. And, just as in anything else, what is it, 70% of language and communication is body language, all those little unconscious cues that we sometimes forget that we do, and then, so that's sort of the same way I feel with karaoke. I'd rather have somebody that has mediocre vocals, but then kind of sells the song in, say, their choreography or their stage presence or their charisma or their interaction with the audience. I enjoy those aspects of karaoke. I mean, especially for karaoke. I mean, karaoke is not meant to be a singing contest. It is meant to be a fun form of performance. You know, it would be similar to like going to a poetry slam and having people like critique you on, oh, this isn't real poetry, or you did not follow the standard or the template of what a poem ought to be. And I think, you know, it's one of those things where sometimes people get so wrapped up in trying to identify technical glitches and shit that they just don't enjoy the kind of the overall aggregate experience of enjoying people perform on stage, you know. And a lot of people are, you know, have different performance strengths, vocals, choreography, you know. Like I said, there was the whole breakdown before. So anywho, enough about mediocre singing. Let's take a look. We have one person online, and we have some, but we do have some comments from before, and I appreciate you guys leaving some feedback and kind of asking some questions and kind of giving me some fodder to discuss here on this beautiful Friday night. So hope you guys are enjoying yourselves this evening. I'm trying to think of what else has been going on. I've been in BC here for a couple days. My next work trip will be to the States again about a month from now, mid-May. I'll be down in St. Louis for one of our meetings about transmission line design. So a lot of cool stuff going on there. And yeah, I mean, it's always nice to go back to the States, you know, and kind of, I don't know why it's nice to go back to the States anymore, because everything in the U.S. is expensive now. Like, there was, I don't know, I the exchange rate is just bugging me. I need the U.S. economy to sort of suffer a bit. I need, like, President Trump to just, like, wage a trade war with, like, half the world, and that way, like, everybody starts trading with Canada instead of the U.S., and maybe I can get some more bang out of my buck out of my Canadian salary when I visit the States, if the exchange rate gets a little bit more favorable to me, if you know what I mean. You know, that's the way I look at it. And, you know, it would benefit the U.S. too to have lower exchange rates, because then products coming out of the U.S. are cheaper in relative terms. And so, you know, if I can pay off my student loans in U.S. dollars with my, you know, with a bigger chunk of a smaller chunk of my salary that's made in Canadian dollars, that would just be fabulous. So, anywho, don't mind me. I'm not normally a big drinker, but, you know, when you take away my marijuana, I gotta go, like, my vices have to kind of wander elsewhere, and so that's when I start drinking a little bit more, and, you know, and then you're out with all the utility guys and stuff, so you gotta kind of chum it up with them, have some beers with them, you know, socialize, and, you know, get out of all the shop talk a little bit and talk about our wives and our kids and our farms and our homes and our little projects that we're working on. And yeah, and so that's always fun to kind of chum it up with these boys out here, boys and gals, I should say, because we've actually been impressed with the amount of female representation I've seen at some of these meetings, and so it's nice to kind of see some real technical expertise coming from folks that aren't just old stubborn white men. Which, to be fair, sometimes I feel like I'm an old stubborn white man, but nonetheless, you know, that's just, I guess, part of being a jaded, I don't want to say jaded 30-something-year-old, but let's just say a jaded, well-seasoned gal. How about that? So, yeah, so, I don't know what else has been going on. I'm trying to think here. Trying to kind of make some travel plans for the summertime. I'd really like to see my ex-boyfriend Matthew in Denver sometime. I also need to make a trip out to Portland to get the remainder of my stuff that is still back there from the Shebacle earlier in late 2017. So I have my computer there. I have my dad's ashes. I have a lot of really significant things. I mean, things that are significant in my long term, but things that weren't significant enough in the short term to immediately necessitate the need to pack my car with all this shit at the time. So hoping to get some of that stuff back pretty soon, and kind of get my Montreal apartment finally to a state where it's like a place that I'm proud to live in. So I might be hosting a housewarming party or something just to get it on the calendar, just so that I can at least have a deadline to get my shit together inside my lonely, messy apartment right now. So that's kind of where I'm at in life right now, trying to get my whole housing situation. Well, not housing situation, but just kind of making my apartment sociable, and that way I can host board game nights, wine nights, orgies, dance party, whatever. Just all kinds of good things. I got to get the place in shape though, so that's kind of on my medium term to do list. But yeah, that's kind of been what's going on with me. It's been, life has been fantastic recently. I'm loving my work. I'm still kind of at a good honeymoon phase with my work where I'm not jaded to I'm not jaded as fuck about it yet. I'm still excited to go to work, excited to kind of get involved in what's going on in our technical groups and everything. Yeah, and then I get to enjoy some free, well, I shouldn't say free beers, but beer, yeah. Because a little bit to my chagrin, you think sometimes you're going to the West Coast, British Columbia. Like I just thought in my head, oh gosh, I'm gonna be out in BC, and there's gonna be all kinds of cheap West Coast weed out here, and perhaps there is. I just haven't spent enough time on Scruff or just around to even find a good place for it. But again, that's okay, because it's kind of nice taking these little vacations away from marijuana and from my usual vices, and kind of give myself some room to do some other vices, like my vape here, I guess. So, cheers. I didn't realize I exhaled so much through my nose. Makes me look like a dragon. Also, yeah, I don't know. Also, I have a blueberry flavored vape. It's a lovely flavor. I love blueberry things. Blueberry juice, blueberry kush, bumbleberry beer, which I have no idea what bumbleberry is. So if somebody can educate me on what the fuck bumbleberry is and its relationship to blueberry, raspberries, et al., that would be some useful insight. Well, maybe not useful, but curious. Curious insight. One of those little curiosities that doesn't have too much applicable value per se, but is nonetheless satisfying to your curiosity. So, speaking of curiosity, what are you all curious about tonight? It is Friday night, and I will tell you, I am curious about, well, I'm sure maybe many of you can predict, I'm curious about the boys, the booze, and the weed. Actually, boys, weed, booze, probably in that order. Actually, probably weed, boys, and booze. In that order. Yeah. I'm 30-something-year-old, so, boys, it takes a lot more effort for boys to impress me now. Not to say that I haven't been impressed. I just, you go around the block a few times, and your thresholds are gradually, your standards are gradually raised, and unfortunately, I have met boys in the city that have met that bar, and I just, I that's one thing I love about Montreal is the boys there. I mean, not even just because they're pretty and ethnic and from around the world and shit, but just, I don't know, it's just, you get so much variety. Columbus seemed like, I don't know, the Columbus seemed a little bit more I don't know what the word is, I guess homogeneous. Whereas, I don't know, a lot of the boys I would meet in Columbus were kind of the same young professional types working in the office 9 to 5, which granted, I'm one of those people, but I always love meeting people from other backgrounds that have different lifestyles, artists, creative types, especially. And I've had some really good opportunities to meet some really cool people in Montreal that kind of have some really cool talents and passions in their life. And that's always been one of my favorite parts of that city is just kind of the diversity there. And I don't mean diversity just in the typical like ethnic and racial terms. I'm just talking diversity in terms of interests and expertise and passions and talents and stuff. Um, and I just love that about Montreal. I learn from everybody that I sleep with out there. And that's I'm a big old slut, but I always like to say that I learn something new from every single boy that I sleep with, and that's that I'm not in it for this. I mean, obviously we're all into that scene a little bit for the sex, but I'm just in it. I'm also in it for the curiosity, the pure curiosity of meeting new people and kind of entering their head a little bit and kind of seeing the world through a different set of eyes. And even if that's only for one night in some obscure part of the city where I just wake up the next morning and I have no idea where the fuck I am, that it's worth it, because I end up kind of coming out of that with a whole new perspective on things. It's especially interesting when you sleep with boys that only speak French and no English. It sort of forces me to use my awful French to kind of negotiate those types of scenes. And there's been a couple times where I've had scruff grinder boys that did not speak English, but and I totally feel a little guilty because I feel like I somewhat catfished them, because I would use my Google Translate to basically copy and paste responses in French back to these folks, and I sometimes wonder, does Google Translate do a good enough job of making my French responses on Grindr and Scruff convincing to make them believe that I'm a real French speaker? Because if that's the case, it just leads to terrible disappointment later when they meet me in person and realize that I've been using Google Translate the entire time to talk to these folks. And so I can't help but feel sometimes a little bit like I'm catfishing people linguistically. Which, it's whatever. I mean, at least I'm not putting a picture of myself up from my 16-year-old days and trying to pass that off like that's what I look like now, right? So whatever, right? Anywho, take one more vape break here. While I do that, y'all start thinking of some shit to ask, because I realize on the East Coast it's like 11:30, so this is technically qualifies now as Facebook Live After Dark. So, on behalf of the Midnight Society, I forget the whole Are You Afraid of the Dark line. I'm trying to think now. On behalf of the Midnight Society, we now present Facebook Live After Dark. So, anywho. Yeah, I don't have anything exciting going on Facebook Live After Dark. My sex life has been pretty chill. I haven't been in slut mode or anything. I've just been socializing and wandering the scene and meeting new people and all that kind of stuff without the explicit priority intention of sleeping with people. But doesn't mean I don't sleep with people. It just means it's not the principal reason why I chase after them. But sometimes you feed some drinks and some weed into me, and the calculus changes on that a little bit. So, anywho, who all? I'm just gonna give some shout outs to who all signed on. Here we got Paul Hinders. Hi, Paul. I think he was on before. I don't even know if he's on this anymore. We got Kevin Thornhill. Hi, Kevin. One of my Old Town East buddies from back in Columbus. Massimo, my hairstylist. I should just refer to him as my hairstylist. He's a dear friend of mine who happens to kick ass at doing my hair, and he's been sort of my I don't want to say he's sort of been my he's been coaching me on growing my hair out, and I made him promise that he was not gonna cut my hair short, even if I went up to him in the summertime, like with my usual tendency to try to chop off all the long hair in the summertime to stay cool. So I'm hopefully gonna kind of grow this out to a decent length, um, kind of get a little bit of some volume back here. Oh, Kevin, hey girl, hey. How you doing, Kevin? How is life back in Columbus, dear? Talk to me a little bit. How is the Old Town East? Is half of it still under construction? First of all, and then second of all, I mean, I've been seeing some new businesses. Been seeing some new restaurants, some new things popping up in the Old Town East. So I hope everything is going well there, Kevin. But yes, hey girl, hey, hey girl, hey. All right, I gotta take a little 5-second vape break. So. Anywho, I think I've been on this Facebook Live shit enough tonight, so before I leave, I'm gonna give you guys one more little view of beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia, out here in the mountains, in the it's kind of in a valley within the Rocky Mountains. So let me do one last little view. It is a little darker outside. The sun has gone down a little bit more since my loudmouth ass has been going, so I guess I can't really see much anymore. It's pretty dark out here, but they got these beautiful lights out here, and I love all these Christmas lights, and people are out on the patio drinking and having fun. Yeah. So, anywho, Facebook Live, it has been a delight to see you guys on here. Hope everybody is having a delightful Friday night. Hope y'all are getting some good weather. I'll tell you what, this has been like my first nice weather all of 2017 or 2018 so far. This has been like the first weather in which I've been able to go out without a jacket on and just kind of enjoy myself. So I've been really blessed for that. I'm hoping we'll get hopefully I can bring some of that warm weather with me, maybe along the jet stream on my way back to Montreal, but we shall see. We'll see when I get back how miserably cold it is back there once I return. See if we got any snow, some random ass snowstorm or ice storm or some bullshit. So that's what I'll be looking forward to on my flight home tomorrow, as well as seeing all my fabulous gals and gays and boys and et al. Back home. So, anywho, Facebook Live, it's been a delight to see you all, and this is Mike George coming at you live from Kelowna, British Columbia. I'll be back in Montreal shortly. Y'all take care now. Bye.